I'm so excited that you've taken time out to tune in to the Ella Johnson Show. I hope that you enjoy the broadcast. I hope you'll laugh. I hope you'll cry. But I hope that you'll be moved by what you hear. Well, my guests are very special to me, and so are you. So I want you to sit back, enjoy the show. What you can become depends on what you can overcome. Yes, I'm so excited about my children's book that's coming out, and I'm looking for some mahogany kids. I'll tell you about that later. And now it's time for the Ella Johnson Show. Hello, everyone out there. It's time for the Ella Johnson Show. Listen, we are always doing something exciting over here on the Ella Johnson Show. As you can tell, I have these beautiful women. I have Miss Z with the bonnet. We'll talk about that in a minute. She's representing. Then I have Jonathan and Alicia. Guys, you'll get to meet my guests. But first, I want to thank all of you so much for tuning in to the Ella Johnson Show. You know, you don't have to. There's so many other things that you could be doing on this Wednesday night, but you're here with us. So while you're here, I want you to enjoy the broadcast, and I want you to share it. Watching on Facebook, please share the broadcast. You may have to write the person's name in the comments, but we want you to be a part of this broadcast. And then if you're watching from YouTube, you already know what to do. I just need you to subscribe and comment and ask questions. Listen, in the comment section, if you want to ask a question or make a comment about anything that we're talking about, we welcome it. Nothing is off limits here. We want you to be a part of the broadcast, okay? So, like I said, I want to thank you all so much. But while you're doing that, I want you guys to share the broadcast, but I have a video. And when we come back, you're going to get to meet my beautiful guest and my handsome. I'm sorry, Jonathan. I didn't mean to say beautiful. I didn't mean men can be beautiful, too. There are no rules. There are no rules here on the Ella Johnson Show. Everybody's beautiful. Car for you, you, and you. Listen, guys, but we'll be right back after this message. We'll see you in a minute. We will have more on the Zimmerman case, but first, some late breaking news. We watched as Special Prosecutor Angela Corey delivers her decision in the Trayvon Martin shooting. The success of this program means a second chance for our youth to have a better life. Corey refused to go into any details about the specifics in this case, but what she did say is that she and her team reviewed the facts and the evidence and came to this conclusion, which they did not come to lightly. Reporting from West Studios, I'm Ella Campbell, West 2 News.
latest news headlines when you want them on WESH.com. Malachi is back with your forecast in just 30 seconds.
And we are back. We are so excited about tonight because, listen, we're doing something new on the Ella Johnson Show where we're going to actually have a panel of guests. I'm not sure this will be the same panel each time or if we'll bring some of you on, but nonetheless, we're going to have a panel and we're going to talk about the news, what's going on in the news, what's relevant to our communities, and how it affects us. I think that's very important because we need to be talking about the things that matter to us directly, being able to say what we want, when we want, and how we want it. And if you look at Z, we can even say it with a bonnet on. And I love her. I love her for it because she's like, you know what? I'm going against it tonight. Oh, and I welcome that. Everything is accepted here on the Ella Johnson Show. But I want you guys to meet my guests because they're awesome. An awesome panel of women and men, and they're just, very knowledgeable in their areas. And you're going to hear a little bit more about what they do. But first, we have Alicia Richardson. She's out of Charlotte, North Carolina. You can't say Charlotte now. You can't say Charlotte, North Carolina. You got to say Charlotte. But she is here from Charlotte, North Carolina, and we want to hear a little bit more about what it is that you do, Alicia. She is the Coach Lee from Memorable Moments by Lee LLC. Tell us a little bit about what you do over there in North Carolina, dear.
Well, hello. I am a holistic health and wellness coach. And what I do is I am certified as a master meditation teacher. I also do Reiki, which is energy reading. And I am a coach. And with me coaching, I work with survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault to help them regain and find that true love that's inside of them that they tend to lose by being in the situation that they was in. So I help them to find true love for themselves. #MeFirst. Because Me First is a movement of finding self-love and loving yourself wholeheartedly inside and out. Because it has to start with you. You have to love yourself and know yourself and embrace yourself in order for you to learn to help others. So that's what I do and I'm passionate about. I take a stand for #MeFirst, self-love. And when I say about meditation, for those of you that pray, when you meditate, you receive the answers. Even if you don't pray, if you just want to answer, you calling out to the universe, calling out to whomever, when you meditate, you receive your answers because you actually being one with yourself. So you've been in a meditative state, so you are able to receive the message that you need to receive. So
I really like that. And you know what? I'll be honest with you, Alicia. I think part of person's healing is just from meeting you. You have such a pleasant aura about yourself. And I think that's part of it because that means you're approachable and people feel like they can trust you. I feel like I can trust you too. Tell you all my business. Well, maybe not everything. You might not be able to handle everything, right, Jonathan? She might not be able to handle everything. But no, welcome. Welcome to the Ella Johnson Show, Alicia. I look forward to a great conversation with you. Then we have the bonnet woman here. She is definitely not just a bonnet woman, but she is living as a rebel tonight. And that gives you a little bit of, that tells you a little bit about the kind of conversation we're going to have because she put that on. We're going to talk about it too. But we're out of, where are you from? You're out of Long Beach. She's in Long Beach, California, a place that I can't wait to visit. She's out of Long Beach, California, and she is the CEO of the SEO Queen. Now, we need to hear about more of that. What is that all about?
Well, my name is Z Scott. And first, I want to say thank you so much, Ella, for inviting me onto your show. And the SEO Queen is a company that helps businesses and brands get more clients and revenue without paying for advertising through search engine optimization or SEO, website development, and mobile app development. So that's what we do in a nutshell.
Wow, I think that's very important. So you help people get more business traffic by what you do through the search engines.
Yeah, there's over 2 trillion searches that are happening on Google alone annually. And so when you optimize your website for that traffic, you're just tapping into, it's like taking a cup to a faucet that's on. You're going to get your share of the traffic coming out of that faucet, which is search engines. And so we optimize digital presences, websites, so that it's in compliance with the algorithm so that you get more clients and revenue.
Oh, wow. And that's good. That's good because you're bringing traffic our way, which turns dollars into cents. I love it.
And, you know,
more money.
Majority of people search on their mobile devices, and only 30% of businesses actually have an SEO strategy. So by having an SEO strategy and implementing that, you're ahead of 70% of your competition.
All right, guys. And listen, both of these ladies, you see they have their information right there in their display. So you can't say you didn't know their numbers or how to reach them. I love it. I love it. Then we have the only male in the group here, Jonathan, and I have known each other for a while now. Jonathan is an incredible person. I mean, he does a lot to help so many people. And I really want you guys to hear a little bit about what he can offer, even those of you that are watching this broadcast. But Jonathan is the founder of Blacktopia and the Media Blast PR. Welcome to the Ella Johnson Show again, Jonathan.
Oh, yes. Thank you for having me again. I'm Jonathan Coleman, the PR specialist from the Media Blast PR. Everybody on the panel, including the host, has worked with me. Basically, what I do is I get my clients more publicity through more websites, more publications, more media platforms, just getting more people talking about them. Also do social media marketing as well. Also get them featured in various, areas in different corners and pockets of the world. Through not just the internet, but just in the streets as well. And you can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is J for now. And and Blacktopia. That's another one of the media platforms that I have. Go to www. Say it again now.
Yes.
About Blacktopia.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and everybody on the panel is in Blacktopia as well, the Facebook group. Definitely Blacktopia is in the house. I believe many of the panelists from the previous shows are in Blacktopia as well.
I was just going to say that, guys. Jonathan has been bringing the guests to the show for the last couple of weeks. So he and I are definitely going to do some business together. I love working with him. He's a very pleasant person to work with. And I'm just giving you my...
I agree with you.
He's incredible to work with. Anytime I reach out to him, like he must be up as late as I am, like all the time. Because every time I message him, I don't care if it's 3:00 in the morning. You know how you see the little bubbles coming up?
Right.
So he never sleeps, just like me, but that's what we got to do. We got some money to get,
Right.
So welcome all of you to the Ella Johnson Show. I'm looking forward to an awesome conversation tonight. Now, Z, talk to me about the bonnet. Everybody here has to give their opinion about the bonnet. Obviously, Z has no problem. She has hers on. What do you think about this whole bonnet thing?
I think, Monique, she posted a video that went viral that got everybody upset about how people should not be in public with the bonnet on because it makes them look bad. It makes other people look bad. Now, for me, I think I look cute in the bonnet. I mean, I have my earrings on. I got my necklace on. And my position on the bonnet is it doesn't matter if Black people wearing, T-shirts and raggedy jeans or a 3-piece suit. It don't matter. So why are we having this discussion? People should wear what they want to wear when they want to wear it.
Okay, what do you think about that?
If the airlines want to have a dress code, that's on them. But
right.
I think, one of the reasons why we go through all the changes, is, Gorilla Glue girl. Why did she feel the need to straighten her hair so much? Why didn't she feel comfortable wearing braids? Why didn't she feel comfortable wearing her dreadlocks? Because white supremacy has systematically oppressed Black people. And we literally, just in the state of California in January last year, 2020, had a law that went into effect saying that you cannot discriminate on the basis of the hair. So to me, I think Monique has oversimplified the issue. She's made a mountain over molehill, and we need to focus on the main thing. And the main thing is that white supremacy is the root of all the, problems in the Black community. You cannot take a community and steal from them for 400 years and expect them to be normal. That's ridiculous.
Wow. All right. I like it. I like it.
Unreasonable expectation.
What about you, Alicia? What do you think about and I love what are those dreads you have going on there?
Oh, they're braids.
Very nice. Very nice. So Alicia, tell me what you think about the bonnet.
I totally agree. Like, if that's how you want to express yourself, that's the mood you was in, that's how you was feeling, by all means. I feel as though we should have that freedom to express how we feel. And the thing about it is a lot, because on my private Facebook group, it's a support group, every Friday I come on and tell them express your feelings. How are you feeling today? Because the thing about it is we've been taught to hide our feelings and hide how we really feeling. And when somebody asks you, well, how you feeling? It's, I'm fine, because we so programmed saying we fine and we not. So sometimes it's like, well, I don't feel like doing my hair. I don't feel like doing up to my hair. I'm just gonna throw my bonnet on. I'm only running to the store. You know, that's just sometimes people just be in that mood.
Now, Jonathan, let me ask you as a man. You see a woman coming in the store, she has a bonnet on, and you see how Z looked. She looked cute with her bonnet. She looks neat, you know, and she looked cute. Would you have approached her in a store if you saw her with a bonnet on her head?
Just women in general with bonnets on, or?
Yeah, just women in general, or even women that look like Z does. I mean, she looked fine. She didn't look raggedy with it. She just had it on her head. She could be protecting. She might not have combed her hair yet, and she doesn't want anybody to see that. So what do you think? Would you approach a woman with a bonnet on her head?
Shoot, I probably have. Probably stepped to one. You know what I'm saying? Probably forgot what she had on that day. And
so in other words, you're saying it doesn't really matter to you.
Yeah, I'm indifferent. I'm more the way those women were dressed in the airport, though. I think they could have dolled it up, but if they just had the bonnet on and was looking like Z, that's different. You know, Z came on looking classy, looking nice, looking crisp, and just had a bonnet on. That's fine, I believe. You know, it's just a nice accessory at the least.
See, I would wear my bonnet and I would be the most confident person in the world. You would look at me like, no, I know she knows she has a bonnet. I would just be like, hello, how are you guys doing? Just like I don't have it on. I think it comes in who you are from the inside anyway. Because I could have my hair all dolled up. I could have just spent $500 getting weave in my head and have a nasty attitude. And, you know, so I mean, I understand. I appreciate the conversation about it. But for me, I'm very indifferent as well to it, John. Well, guys, listen. Oh, go ahead, Z.
I was going to say, when I was an undergrad, right before I graduated from college, right before I graduated from MIT, this recruiter told me that, oh, you won't get a job having dreadlocks, because I had dreadlocks like to here. And eventually I had them down my back. But I went and got a job at Raytheon.
What?
Yeah, that was my first job out of college. I was a salary employee. I had gotten a raise. In 9 months, I was identified as a high potential. I was on the fast track, but I had dreadlocks. I was wearing my hair natural. I've been wearing my hair natural for a long, long time. And even though people told me that I needed to press my hair and this, that, and the other, my attitude was, you're either going to accept me for me or not. But I'm going to be me. I'm not going to go through all these changes just to be accepted. And I think we as Black people, we go through too many changes trying to fit into this, you know, white supremacist ideal of what they think we should be, which it don't matter. It really don't matter. They're going to treat us bad either way. It don't matter. That's all.
Well, guys, what we came tonight together for is we're going to have our own news show right here on the Ella Johnson Show, because we need to talk about what's relevant in Black America, what we need to know about what's going on. You hear rumblings about certain things, but we're going to talk about some things tonight that you need to know because it affects your present and your future. So you guys ready to dig into all this stuff? There's so much going on in the news. This was very difficult to decide the most important stuff because there's so much going on that affects us. But we're going to start out with Juneteenth. Juneteenth is coming up June 19th. Now, ladies and gents, do you know that there are a lot of people that have no idea why we celebrate Juneteenth? I know that's hard to believe, but it really is. I mean, they celebrate the 4th of July and just carry on. They don't care. It's a day off and we get to get free, barbecue, whatever. And I go back to work. Don't give much thought at all to what the holiday means. Let's, first of all, before we start talking about Juneteenth, let's talk about where it comes from, what it means. Z, tell us a little bit more about, so the people that are watching this who don't know what Juneteenth is all about, educate us a little bit about that.
Juneteenth celebrates the day that the last group of enslaved people found out that they were free. This was over a year later in the state of Texas. And this happened
2 years. Yeah, she's right. 2 years. Yeah,
2 years later. And the thing that's so mind-blowing to me is that I'm sure all the owners, the slave owners, knew in Texas. There's no way that they didn't know. Yeah. And for them to lay down their integrity like a jacket and take 2 more extra years free labor. I mean,
and that's exactly what it was. They didn't want to tell the slaves because they wanted to get more money out of them. I mean, more labor out of them. And they had some kind of festival coming up that they really needed to have a lot of work done. And so it was in 1863 that the proclamation, the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, but it wasn't until 1865 that they were told. Right. Now, if I would have been out in the field, Jonathan, and they would have come out, they wouldn't have, listen, halfway through the sentence, I'm already out. Y'all can stay here if you want to. I'm like, Alicia, you can stay here if you want to, girl. I'm out. I'm out. I'm not even going back in the house for nothing. I'm out for real. So they, some people.
With that, even though they was free, they was told that y'all can still live here and work here with wages. So they still try to make it seem like, yeah, y'all free, but we still need y'all to be here in the fields, but now we'll give you wages for it. So
the sharecropping comes in, and the sharecropping, they charge them exorbitant amounts for the seed and for the tools, and basically just put them right back in slavery. So
basically, that's exactly what it is. Yep.
And then and then some of the people
What were you going to say?
What were you saying, dear?
I said it's almost like they saying, yeah, you free, but we just still need you to do this. So it's almost like you free from us not beating and whipping you anymore, but we still need you out in the fields to help out. In return, to make you believe you're free, here you go.
And then what's sad, what a lot of people don't understand too, is that when they were leaving, some of them were shot. Even as they were leaving, they were told they could go. And then when they left, they were shot. And it was just, because see, it's very important. 4th of July and Juneteenth, there's a difference here. When the Declaration of Independence was signed, it did not have us in mind. We were still considered property.
3/5 of a human.
Yes. I need you guys to get that. Say that again, Z.
3/5 of a person.
That means they didn't even consider us a whole person.
Right.
Nope.
Y'all got to get that, because when that declaration was signed, we were not free. So that is why we celebrate Juneteenth, is because we celebrate when we actually got our independence. But prior to Juneteenth, a lot of people, prior to that day, a lot of people had already broke free anyway. So it wasn't just that made people free. A lot of people had gotten away. I would have been one of those that probably would have got my feet cut off for running. They're like, that doggone Ella, every time we turn around, she's trying to get out of here. Me, I would have been trying to put on some white makeup somewhere. Right? I would have tried it all. I would have been like, look, I got to find me some white clay or something. I got to get up. We're being comical about it. But at the end of the day, guys, Juneteenth is coming up, and you need to know why we celebrate it. But the good news about Juneteenth, after all of that, the Senate just passed the bill to make it a federal holiday. Now, how do you feel about that, Jonathan?
Oh yes, feel great. That is recognized like this finally. And you know, I hate to say, is black people on Facebook, they got something to say about it, like, oh, about time and all this and that. But hey, it's fine.
It's a
Finally,
start.
I mean, it's a start. You know,
Right.
yeah,
I mean, it's not the most important thing we need, but it is a start because we
yeah,
need that George Floyd policing act. We need that, stuff
yeah,
like that. That's what we need. But yeah, it's they have to still take it to the House. The Senate, passed the bill, but we still, and I don't think we'll have a problem getting it to pass the House. I mean, it's Democrat led. What do you think about that, Alicia?
All right, so this is what I'm gonna say about it with the Democrats, because it's like when I was doing my research on Juneteenth and everything about it, I've learned that when it first started, the Democrats was the ones that didn't even want us to keep celebrating it. So now it's like, I guess as time moved forward, different people came in a Democratic House, so now it's opening up to a bigger view of it. So I'm excited that it even made it to the Senate, and the Senate was like, we need to have this as a federal thing going on. So I'm excited about that, and hopefully when they do that, because even though it's celebrated, it's still North Dakota, South Dakota, and Hawaii still does not even recognize it. So it's like
Yeah.
once it becomes a national federal holiday, it can be recognized throughout the whole country. So I I think it's going to pass anyway. So
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to pass. And, there's some different people, companies are starting to get a hold of this, guys, because, and I think what put it in the limelight even more was what happened to George Floyd. Because now these companies, Nike and all these different big major corporations, they're like, you know what? It is time. I mean, Nike should, because we're the one that's buying these expensive shoes. I'm just saying. But they're all recognizing that we have to do something collectively to change what it looks like in this country for Black America. We're finally getting a conversation, right? So
and then
say again.
I say, and that's a start to finally get the conversations moving.
Now, what do you say about those people that says, listen, I hear what you guys are saying, but I'm just going to celebrate the 4th. It's all the same. Why should they change what they're doing?
Well, Frederick Douglass said it best in his speech. I believe it was in 1852. And when he was, he's one of the most famous Black abolitionists that ever lived. And during the time of, this is about 10 years before the Civil War. And he gave this speech, and he basically said, to the Negro, what is 4th of July?
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing. And this sentiment that we have felt in our lifetime has been felt through decades and decades of time. I mean, since the 1800s. And, for Frederick Douglass I believe Frederick Douglass is smiling down on us to know that we're finally recognizing Juneteenth as a federal holiday, and it's long, long overdue. It should have been a federal holiday immediately after the Civil War. But as we know, Rutherford B. Hayes became the president after Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, and he pulled the military out of the South, and which gave rise to the KKK, plus, all these, Jim Crow, Black codes, all these horrible institutionalized laws that white people love to hide behind.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm glad that, we are getting back active, as Black people, and going after our interests. People like Tariq Nasheed, Boyce Watkins, and the list goes on and on. Antonio Moore, they've been very vocal about this, and I think George Floyd has been a galvanizing incident. Unfortunately, it took that, but Billie Holiday sang about it. Strange Fruit, a killing is a killing, is a lynching is a lynching. I mean, it's whether it's a rope, whether it's a knee, whether it's a bullet. I mean, it's the end result is the same, but it needs to stop. And we
Absolutely
need to stand up for ourselves as Black people. It's like we need to, I think if you look through history, and it doesn't matter if you're super smart or or not, as a Black person, you are viewed in a very limited view. It doesn't matter. And we as people need to stop blaming ourselves, stop blaming our community, and really speak up for ourselves. That's the bottom line. We have to speak up for ourselves because this is ridiculous. It's not acceptable.
You know, I like what you said, Z, because you brought it home and said, listen, guys, we're not going to be respected ever, because you can have 10 degrees coming all out of your butt. It doesn't matter. You can be just as educated or more educated. It doesn't matter. They still view us in a certain way. And I like what you're saying, because we have to stand up for ourselves, and we can't lay down anymore. And we got to take this George Floyd and run it as long as we need to. You don't get to tell us when to be quiet. We're not going to be quiet. We're going to work it until we get everything we need. You know, we hate that he had to die.
People talk about Hitler all the time. Jewish people, they never forget. We need to say, never forget Black Wall Street. Never forget 400 years ago. Never forget George Floyd. Never forget Sandra Bland. Never forget. Never forget.
Never forget. I like it.
Never forget.
It's having a consistency. As long as we've been consistent with it, then that's when stuff.
We won't have any issues. That's right.
Oh yeah.
It's the thing about it is they say, yeah, they saying all this right now, but then they're gonna die down and stop saying it.
Exactly.
We have to be consistent with it. Because once we stop talking about it and once we stop making a stand for it, that's when they like, yeah, I knew they was just saying something out their mouth. So it's like you have to keep going and being consistent with it.
And we have to teach our babies so they know.
Yeah.
So they know the history. I think about, my family, and, my father's side comes from Louisiana. My mother's side comes from Arkansas. And, my grandmother, my dad's mother, didn't want to talk about the pain of Jim Crow. She didn't want to talk about it. And it wasn't until my dad was an adult and older before he heard these stories. But these stories need to be talked about. I have family members right now who drank from colored fountains. This is something that needs to be talked about, because the victims of this are still alive.
That's right.
I mean, the woman she was 7 years old when Tulsa was bombed and burned to the ground. She's still alive. This is no figment of our imagination.
Come on.
How dare anybody tell us not to forget, forget, get over it. We're all the same. Right. No, we are not the same.
No, preach. We are not. We are not.
And if we were treated the same, more Black people would be running more things than ever, because we're the ones doing the work.
Hello.
Yeah, we have to be consistent with it, and that's the issue. It's like we had learned to just push things under the rug and don't talk about it. If we don't talk about it, we ain't got to deal with it no more. But it needs to be talked about so our children's children can continue it on. So they won't just think it's okay. So by us keeping on pressing the issue and talking about it, because no, we can't forget this, because this is what happened to us. This is what happened to our ancestors. And we take a stand so it won't happen again, because we need it to be. I know we're never going to be equal. I know we're never going to be treated that way. So we let you know we know what y'all did. We let y'all know we know.
We know.
We didn't forget. It's not something that, like she said, like Z said, a figment of our imagination. No, this is true facts. This happened.
Yes. And
by us being consistent and letting y'all know, so y'all don't think it's okay to continue to do the things y'all doing.
And another thing too, Jonathan, no one has actually paid the price for what happened in Tulsa. They really did. There were no insurance payments, because it was considered part of the riot and that was protected. So no one paid the price for it. You're talking about Black Wall Street. We talked about that on this show. I love talking about stuff like this, because I know a lot of people have no idea what Black Wall Street was all about. And the reason they keep this from you, and the reason they don't like for shows like this to talk about this, because they don't want you to know who you are and where you came from, because then you might think you could do it again. So that's why we have to talk about it. What are you guys going to be doing for Juneteenth? Any special plans?
I'm going to a Juneteenth festival on Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing.
What about you, Alicia?
Where's the festival at, Jonathan?
Oh, it's on Thomas. The Plaza Midwood area, Central Avenue, Thomas Avenue, over there,
Yeah.
Toucan
Okay.
Street. Yeah,
Okay.
Well, I sure wish I could be
I'd
there
love to
with you
see you out
guys.
there.
I'm coming to North Carolina one day.
Definitely.
I'm coming. What about you, Z? What are you going to be doing, dear?
Well, I'm going to be supporting my friend Calvin Martyr for the Juneteenth celebration sponsored by One United Bank, which is one of the largest Black-owned banks. They're doing a whole Juneteenth
Oh,
celebration.
nice.
I'm planning to attend that, and I'm also planning to spend time with my fellow Black entrepreneurs in the LA, South LA area. So those are my plans for the weekend. I'm definitely going to celebrate. It's worth celebrating,
We have to.
Mm-hmm.
We have to. I'll be in Miami celebrating. So I mean, I'm excited that we're at least even talking about this. Now, let's move on to another subject, because it is very important for us to understand what this Biden administration. Now, we voted him in. We believed his campaign promises, and he's in now. Well, he has this American Families Plan, American Job Plan. We need to talk about that tonight, because that affects every single one of us. And we need to dig in on this one and see exactly what it is. Now, it's been signed into law because the Democrats, they're showing a little muscle, they're going in there and, sticking their chest out a little bit, and they're saying, look, we're going to get this into law. It's been signed into law, but we want to push this so that we can get the support in both, so that we can now let's break it down. What is the American Job Plan and Americans Family Plan? Because Biden, the purpose was to get at least 5 million children out of poverty. That's a lot of people. And it's almost like, I know there's a lot of poverty-stricken families in this country, but that put a number to it. Just hearing that 5 million children out of poverty, what does that do to you, Jonathan, when you hear that?
Oh yeah, I hope it works. I hope it's just not a bunch of signing papers and say we'll do this and do that. I want to see some results with it.
Well, they're already starting some of it. one of the things is the direct payments to families. That's starting in July, where now, listen, I have to bring you guys back for a whole different broadcast about these PPP loans. I did a show about that and how people are getting into a lot of trouble. So if you haven't seen that show, you definitely might want to tune in, but we're not talking about PPP loans tonight. But the direct payments to families, that's going to start next month. That's part of this plan. 4 years, free education. Sounds pretty good, right?
Right.
Because there are a lot of kids that could go to school if it weren't for the expenses. I mean, they're in it for the money, and they make it so unaffordable. And then you got all these rich white women out here getting all the money because they're lying about their kids. That's a whole different story, broadcast. But they're also going to increase the Pell Grant. Yes. Now you don't have to take out so many loans. Yeah.
Right.
To go to school.
Yeah. When I went to college, I think one of many people who applied. I was the only one accepted to MIT the year that I graduated from high school. I was the only one accepted. And I remember there was another girl, she had gotten accepted to Harvard, but she couldn't afford to go. But I got so many grants. I had applied to every scholarship I could.
Yes.
And I was going through my archives, and I had all these letters, congratulatory letters, letters of recommendation. It was just like, it was a nice confidence booster. But the fact that these Pell Grants are increasing in size is huge, because all of these young, gifted, and Black youths that are endeavoring to expand their horizons and seek out education in the university and college settings, they definitely need that help. And it's my position, until a check is cut and we are fully compensated for 400 years of free labor, they need to keep on cutting checks.
Keep cutting checks. I don't care where it comes from. I don't care if you make it out to my dog, and I don't even have a dog. I want mine. Yeah. Make it out to my mule.
We are all owed that.
Yeah.
And
I wanted to talk about
black or black African, whatever. It's like
right.
we've all gotten whether it's colonialism or Jim Crow, we've all been victims of it.
But some people have gotten their check.
Yeah.
We just got to get ours. But yeah, so this administration, it's very important for us to talk about this. How do you think this is going to fare over, Jonathan? Let's say, I mean, he's already started with the direct paychecks to families. How do you think that's going to help, especially when you have these single mothers? They need daycare. They're going to make the cost of that more affordable so that women can now go out, get a job. You can get educated. We have no excuses now. If this stuff goes through. Because with these direct checks, you have an opportunity to now put your kids in daycare, get in school, so you can have higher paying jobs. Even though you and I both know, Z, we all know that just because you have that piece of paper does not mean it's not a guaranteed that you're going to get it. Because if you walk in the door, and I mean, people say, I can't believe Ella's saying that. Well, believe it, because it's the truth. And unless you've experienced it, unless you have experienced what corporate America is like, I have been in it my whole life. And I right? Am I keeping it real, ladies?
Yes, you are. You are keeping it 100.
Yeah. And it's like you have to have, because we're held to a different standard. We're held to a higher standard. You can't get away with certain things that they could get away with. And I'm not trying to be racist. I'm being real. It's true. And I know my white friends are like, Ella, come on. What? Unless you've experienced it, you have no idea what I'm talking about. So we appreciate Biden's administration. And he's keeping his promise, guys. This is what he promised. I mean, this economic plan.
The bottom line for me on Biden's administration is that I see him really doing some amazing things. And I want him to keep that same energy and keep on moving in that direction of having a more representative government by, tapping more Black men and women and people of color into these critical leadership roles, tapping into that diversity of thought, cutting those checks to those families that need it. I mean, anytime you have a country where the Black and white wealth gap, it would take over 400 years, 400. There goes that.
It's over 400 now.
Yeah, it would take for Black people to accumulate the same wealth as white people.
We got a lot of catching up to do, is what you're saying.
Yes, and there has to be a wealth transfer. People like to say, oh, this is a free market economy. And this is like, you can't compete with somebody with, both hands tied behind their back. That's where Black people are. We have no capital to invest in our companies. If it wasn't for the grants that have been made available by companies like Lowe's and nonprofits like the Lisk Foundation, there's a lot of Black businesses that would have died on the vine through this pandemic. So, I have to take my hat off to the Biden administration for finally naming a thing. And if they could get the ball rolling on reparations and getting that check in process, I'd be over the moon.
No, yes.
Yes, I like it. What do you want to add to that, Jonathan?
Yeah. I mean, let's just give us the money. But on top of that too, us as a people, this is definitely going to help boost us. Is to help like you said, there's no more excuses, but we really have to just do something with this opportunity with the money that we get. We just can't just do stupid stuff with the money and blow it. Even with the opportunities to go for the youth to go to college for free. Get degrees and trades, get stuff that you could actually use, not these useless degrees, just to have a degree,
Right. That's a very good point. And there's places that you can go on the website and find where, find out what you're good at, find out what interests you, and then find out what they call it so that you can go and master that. Because when you get out of college, the objective is to go to work, right? So that you can be, compete. So you can compete. So I think that, overall, what grade would you give it, Alicia, as far as the Biden administration so far, especially with this economic plan that we see?
Well, grade, since everything is actually moving and progress is actually happening, I'll give it a B+ until everything is actually finalized.
Till she gets her check. She says, Ella, answer me a question. And not just get the check. No, I need it to clear. Once it clears my bank and they're not calling me, say, hey, Ella, now you know this check ain't no good. No, I need to make sure it clears. Then a couple days after that, you know? But yeah, I think that. I think that's good. What grade would you give it, Z?
I'd say C, because, this is long overdue.
Right.
And, between, the Juneteenth and just, investing in our country's infrastructure and, investing back in the people and, moving towards a reparative relationship, the social contract with Black America has been broken with the United States. And, I would say, they went from F- to a C.
And that's good. I mean, that's progress.
That's progress.
But another thing I saw when I was looking, because I was going to whitehouse.org to find all of this information today, and they're also making it where they can facilitate reentry for those who've been incarcerated. So when they come back out here, they're able to just get back. Because my thing is, why do we intend on making it so difficult for them? I mean, you don't want them to go and reoffend. So why not make it, easier? Right? What do you guys think about that?
I think it's important. I think it's important for people being released out of a prison to have more opportunities. Have to give credit to Obama, because he started the ball rolling with nonviolent drug offenders getting out of prison. He started the ball on that. So yes. I really think that Obama would have probably did a lot of the things that Biden is doing now if he would have had the House and the Senate.
Absolutely. So, I was just going to say that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, I can't give Biden's administration an A+, even with, Kamala being in there, because a lot of this is like they could really give us reparations right now. They could do it, but I'm not so sure if they're going to. And for that, for what they've done, I'll give them a C for both policy and effort.
See, I'm going to need to see that anti-lynching bill, because we got a hate bill for the Asians, like almost immediately.
Yeah. And so, to me, that's another, I'm glad you brought that up, because when I read that, I'm like,
that made me just like, man, let me turn this.
It was a Korean woman who shot, I believe it was Natasha Harlins in LA in the 90s. I know personally a lot of Black women who have attempted to start beauty supply stores and were blocked out by whom? Asians. There's been systematic Asian violence against Black people, and people want to say, oh, Black people, we need a cap for these Asian people. No, it's like, no, I don't have any hate towards Asian people, but I sure as hell am not advocating on their behalf, because we were here for 400 years.
Preach.
No compensation.
Preach.
Oppression.
Preach.
The mind games. As a business owner, I'm building my intellectual property, and I actually have an intellectual property attorney coming to speak at my conference, the Reach More Clients Power Conference. And, we didn't have the law. The laws wouldn't protect us. This is what I need. Yes, it was a slap in the face, Denise Carter. Yeah. A slap. It was a disrespect. And until the disrespect stops and real action is taken, I'm not gonna. It's like, no, y'all doing the bare minimum.
See, I love this woman right here. I'm ready. Z, I'm coming to California. Let's just do something together. Right. Because I love your enthusiasm, and I can see it oozing out of you, your passion for us and your people. I love that. I love it.
If we are not for us, who? Right. Who?
Yes.
If we don't advocate for ourselves, if we don't, like you were talking about, Coach Lee, me first, self-love. If we don't love us for real, and I love me some Monique, I do love her. I bought Skinny Women Are Evil. I bought that book, got it signed. If we don't love ourselves, If we don't put us first,
nobody
will.
Yeah. And I also want to add that the Asian people, when stuff happens to us, they're not alongside with us, not entirely as individuals that do it, but as a whole, they say fuck them to us.
You know? Yes.
Behind closed doors. I mean, I don't know if you guys follow the news in China, but Africans in China were being thrown out of their apartments, rent paid, because they were Black. You know, my African,
and we're over here standing up for them.
You know, my African brothers and sisters, they catch hell just like we do. You know, we dealt with Jim Crow. They have colonialism. You know, they had the Spanish, the French, and the British, and the Portuguese. You know, and you know,
why do you think
sisters?
Why was Biden so quick to do that? I mean, now that we're talking about it, because that happened like first. That was on his mind during the campaign.
I think it's about money. It's about politics and shoring up his base. Yeah. It's just about, you know, placating, you know, those who are, you know, cutting checks. I mean, Kamala, she always says she's Black and Asian.
Mm-hmm. And you know, one thing I like to say,
just Black. So
what also want to add, when it comes to like these party politics, Black people, it seems like all we do is just vote. We don't get nobody's pocket. You know, we don't have any of these lobbyists that we don't do any of that. We don't
because we're too busy trying to be so kind and want to work with the other side and all that kind of stuff. They're not thinking about that. That's one thing I give Republicans credit for. When they want something, they get it.
Mm-hmm. Right. And, you know, there's actually a super PAC that is for Black people, to advocate for Black people policies. If you want to learn more, make sure you text me and I'll connect you with the organization. Yeah, they just got their 501c4 and license.
So you help people with 501c3s? You help
501c4.
Oh, the 4. Okay, right. So what about the 3?
Yeah, I know people with 501c3s as well, but the 501c4s actually can lobby and have other have other political privileges to lobby on behalf of Black people. So you definitely want to reach out to me and I'll connect you with
I think you would make an excellent lobbyist, Z.
Yeah.
You know, when I was younger, I wanted to be an attorney, but I changed my mind from that. But, you know, the longer I live and the more that I'm building the SEO Queen, I'm building this business. And every day, you know, as I'm working, I'm realizing how much our ancestors were ripped off and what that means. And it just breaks my heart.
I know. I feel you. And, you know, we talked before. We talked about that before the break, guys, because we all collectively here have that same vibe when it comes to how we feel about our people, because we have to do something. We have to do something that's going to work, something that's going to stick, because so far what we get a lot of talk. We get excited for a minute and they already know. Just give them time. As soon as a good ball game or something comes on, they'll be off talking about something else. And they even change the narrative and we allow them to. No, we weren't talking about that. No, we're going to go back to George Floyd. I know what you tried. You tried it. No, we're going to talk about George Floyd because that's what's important. And we're not going to stop talking about it until it changes. Never forget. I love it. Okay, guys, we're going to move on to the next subject. Anybody want to say anything else about that before we move on to another subject?
No, let's go to the next subject. I'm with you.
All right. Another campaign promise that Biden made good on is he nominated Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia. Another African. I have her. I'm going to show her. This is her here. I brought her here on the screen. This is her. She is very qualified. Make no mistake about it. Okay. Now, he didn't just do it, but he always said that he wanted to bring a woman of color. She has written more than 550 opinions, served as a federal public defender, distinguished career as a judge on the U.S. District Court for District of Columbia. It was a 53-44 vote. Now, doesn't that make us feel good when we see us in these types of positions and getting there?
Right. And
And like
hopefully
you said,
we're on track to get into the Supreme Court.
yes.
Have you had a black woman on the Supreme Court?
Have we? I don't think so.
We've had Thurgood Marshall, Clarence Thomas, but no black women. So I wish her well, wish her the best.
I do too. What do you think, Alicia? Do you think we're moving in step in the right direction with this one?
Moving slowly but surely.
Slowly but sure. What about you, Jonathan?
Oh yeah, same thing. I mean, this is a step.
This is
step
it.
in the right direction.
All right, guys, we're gonna move on to something else. Mackenzie Scott. That's Jeff Bezos' ex-wife. Girl is paid. I think she started out with like $60 billion. Now you know that's a lot of money, Jonathan.
Between her and Melinda Gates, I've been hearing the men saying, "See, even if you have money, you can't keep her." But the problem with men is it's cheaper to keep her, and you gotta be faithful. I mean, it's all coming out in the New York Times, Wall Street Journal that Bill Gates was sleeping around, cutting up, and I don't care how much money you have. At one point, a woman has to say enough is enough.
Bill Gates cheating? I just never would have imagined that.
Yeah, but Melinda Gates knew about the side piece, though. She was okay with it because she was like, okay, well,
she knew about one specific side piece, but it's all the other side pieces.
He had more than one.
Well,
go ahead, John.
Kevin Samuel says that high-value men don't cheat; they exercise options. So he was just exercising his options. It's only cheating when women do it, or when broke guys do it. It's cheating.
Wow, that's interesting that you say that. So it carries a different meaning when you have money. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, he's just spreading the resources.
He's spreading the resources. Well, I'm, kudos to both of them.
I'm selfish. If you're with me alone,
I'm with you on that, Z. Listen, I do too. And I mean, and is that too much to ask, Jonathan? No. Is it too much for us women to just say, "Can you just be faithful to just me? What do you need me to do? I'll do it. I'll do it. You don't have to watch porn to get what you want. Let me just go and practice, and then let me come back with it. I got you."
That was one of the reasons why I divorced my ex-husband, because he was addicted to porn and could not give me an orgasm. That was one of many reasons.
So that now this show has turned into confessions on the Ella Johnson Show. Girl,
she needs to keep on cutting those checks. God bless her.
Well, honey, listen, you might need some therapy because you got to keep getting those. You know that'll make you crazy.
Oh no! I don't have a want for those for orgasms.
Oh, okay.
I don't have a want. No.
Okay.
I cut them loose and but
wow.
I think porn is horrible, and I think for a man to marry a woman and not put all of his attention and energy into that woman is a mistake, because when you fully invest, spiritually, physically, economically into that one woman, you can achieve some amazing things.
I agree.
And Jonathan, for somebody to be allegedly so smart like Bill Gates, he's made some really stupid choices.
So Jonathan, your ears went up when she said, what did you say? You said, and he was just like, what?
Porn.
Oh, porn. So you just confessed, Jonathan. Well, so we get that you like porn. So what is wrong with it, Z?
Yeah, that's my question. What's wrong with it?
What's wrong with porn?
Yeah.
I'm just asking.
Well, number one, why would I watch it when I can do it? And number two, it's fake. It's fake. Why would you? It's like it's fake. It's fake, phony, and false. It's not
for entertainment purposes. You don't think it?
I don't think it's healthy entertainment. I think it gives a person a very unrealistic view of what true intimacy can be and is.
Yeah. Now that I do agree with you, Z. I think that it does make it unrealistic because they're not that a lot of that is fake. They cut, start over. She just
Right.
had a bang and now you
Yeah.
think she's lasting all that time. No, bro. This girl just got through eating a bag of chips and a soda. Now she's just getting started. She's making all that noise and she's not even really feeling all that. So it's true. It's true
Right.
that it does give you an unrealistic view of what sex is. But I do also agree, Jonathan, that it's entertaining and it can set the mood. But I do think you have to do it in, sparingly. You can't be addicted. And I think that's where it gets dangerous. Because now you don't want your wife. You're like, when you can do that, I'll come in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
I mean, right?
agree. Yeah, it shouldn't be an addiction, but maybe something that kind of, like you said, set the mood, watch a little bit of it, and then turn you on, then you go do that.
Jonathan is speaking from experience, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Does it work for you, Jonathan? Let me just put it on out there.
It's like pouring gasoline on the fire sometimes, Pour like a little gasoline, and then it gets me all ready, to do what I got to do.
So y'all watching the porn together?
Yeah, I've done that.
Okay.
Jonathan is getting nervous. You see how he's moving now. He's rocking.
That's why he's like in a hot seat.
With a hot seat.
Well, I mean, you can't show your expressions on this show because I catch it, and I was like, I felt a little tension from this side over here.
I'm gonna do a whole show like
this. Do it like that. You can't hide it from me. I got 4 eyes in my head right now. But I mean, I think it's healthy conversation because there are people that are struggling with this out there who are getting divorced because they don't know how to have this kind of conversation. And, I can talk about anything on the show because anything that's going to help our family and our community do better. Let's not let sex be a hang up. Like, what is it? Do you need more training? What is it?
The other problem with porn is that it gives you this, white supremacist, hetero, patriarchal, normative view of what sex can and should be, and it doesn't take into account of the Black bodies, the Black experience. It doesn't show that at all, and that's problematic. When I really understood, my ex-husband was addicted to this porn. It did not appeal to me as a Black woman to know that he is lusting and jerking off to all these white women. That was just unacceptable for me.
Well, the stuff that I is up on, there's sisters in there, and I'm talking about the real sisters, like with natural hair and bodies like sisters, and they don't look like white women.
How much do you watch?
I mean, not like that.
Right? Porn, you definitely are a connoisseur.
No. I'm just saying, you can just search what you really want. You go straight to that. I know back.
Okay, you're going to give us a website next? I mean, like, what? Because, I mean, I'm just saying, right, Z?
I don't know about that.
Alicia? Yeah. But we got all off topic.
With the search engine.
I'm like, oh, really?
Yeah, we were talking about Mackenzie and all her money, what she's
and all
do.
her money that she got from because I think she started with like $60 billion. She's already given away like $8.5 billion to a lot of charities and everything because she believes that it's time for the people who are underfunded and forgotten about to finally have their day. So she wants to put money into these charitable organizations so that they can funnel it through and pass it forward to the people who really need it, who've been forgotten. And I hope that you organizations, when you get that 20, 30, 50, 70, 100 some $1,000 check, do right by it. Don't try to pay all your cousins and all these kind of people. Make sure you're reaching out to the people that really need it. Let's do right so she doesn't have to regret doing that.
Absolutely.
Because she had to really go in her pocket for that, but it didn't even touch it.
I mean,
it didn't even touch it. Not even a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, 4 or 5. You said $1 billion, $6 billion,
$4.5 billion. Yes,
that's not even 10%.
Yeah,
I mean,
4.5 billion. 4.2.
She probably just spent the interest on what she earned.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a big sacrifice, but God bless her for cutting the check.
But you know what? She's been known as the most generous donator thus far. Like, she's up there even more than her husband, ex-husband. She's donated even more than him.
I believe that. I really believe that, energetically, white men really, on a whole, think that their stuff doesn't stink and that the world revolves around them. They're the most narcissistic population on the face of the planet as a whole.
Well, tell us how you really feel, Z.
I'm not surprised.
But I mean, you said a mouthful, but you're so accurate about that, because she just, you can tell, and she's not fake with it. I watched the video today, and it just looks like she's done everything. She's had everything. There's nothing. And she's saying, I'm telling you, I think that George Floyd did more than just kind of get us to a direction of wanting to make change in the policing. But I think it touched America's heart. I really, really do. And I think these rich people are like, you know what? Dang, I didn't know it was like that. They've probably seen way more than they've ever seen their entire life about what's happening.
All because of that young lady who filmed it. She got a Pulitzer Prize.
She sure did. And she deserved it. She deserved it.
Absolutely.
Yes, she did.
Absolutely.
Yes, she did.
I concur.
Because, she was brave to do that. She wasn't intimidated by the police. I think about that day, and I just think about, I can't watch that George Floyd video without crying.
I don't think I've watched it all the way through myself.
It's hard. It's hard
to watch.
It's hard. And for people to tell us to just get over it, we're not going to get over it. We're going to talk about it until it changes. Because somebody, I remember people used to tell me, they'd say, Ella, Trump has done more for the black man. Don't even finish that sentence. Listen, when he's done as much for us as he's done his own people, then we can start bragging about it. Don't go there with me with that.
No, I'm not trying to hear it. Reverse 400 years of oppression, then I'll get excited.
That's what I'm talking about. University of Texas got $40 million from her. They were pretty excited. University of Texas, $40 million. Ooh, I just do the right thing. That's all. When I saw that, that's the first thing that came in my spirit. Please, people, don't make this woman regret it. Do the right thing. Make sure it gets into the hands of the people who need it. And those of you who need it, ask. We're doing this show so you'll know what's coming your way. There's organizations out there. And when we get a list of what those organizations who all got money, we'll bring that to you as well. So, we just wanted to let you guys know that that's what's out there. She said that she believed that empowering these organizations will help reach those in need. Another story out in the news. How many people watching this broadcast went to ITT Technical Institute in Rancho Cordova, California? How many? Y'all need to know this, because some of you, a lot of people go to ITT Tech. I mean, that's one of the more popular ones because I see all the commercials. But they're having to give back a lot of money. Yeah, they're having to give back a lot of money, guys, because, a lot of colleges do this. And you and I were talking about this, Z, before the broadcast. They kind of glorify what they've done. They push their numbers up, and come to find out, these guys were they lied.
Right.
They lied about a lot of it. So, but this is the thing. There were a lot of claims filed. Now, in the Trump organization, they were piling up. This is also another one of Biden's promises that he made in the campaign, that he was going to go in there and give this money back. So far, they've been giving back a lot of money as a result of people filing claims against this school. That's sad.
I think it's sad, but I also think that a lot of universities, not all, have some fat that they can trim from their degree program.
Right.
And actually, either, reduce the cost of the degrees or increase the value of what is being taught. I recently spoke to an MBA graduate from NYU, and she was taught a lot about search engine optimization, but there were some gaps in the knowledge. So, and this is NYU. This is an accredited top tier research institution. So just imagine, a lower tier like ITT tech that doesn't have all the oversight and the intellectual base of an NYU. So a lot of these universities and colleges need to be held accountable, and
Absolutely.
definitely as a student need to do a lot of research and ask a lot of questions, because you really cannot count on a college to help you land a job. It's
Right.
all on you. It's like all they're doing is giving you the knowledge. And for them to say, oh, people got these jobs, they got those jobs after graduation because of who that student is. They took and synthesized that knowledge to catapult them into this arena. I have yet
Absolutely.
a college give people the blueprint for a successful career, because many things in the market, how can they? MIT didn't teach me about SEO. I mean, websites were just becoming a thing when I was graduating, getting ready to graduate. So I mean, there's a lot of technological shifts that happen, and it's hard for research institutions to even stay on top of what the market shifts are in real time. So you really, I'm glad that the students who were ripped off at ITT Tech
Getting their
are
money
being
back.
compensated.
Yeah.
And I would say all people who are going, whether it's Harvard, MIT, or Long Beach City College, really be intentional about where you want to take your career.
Right.
Look at the job descriptions. Don't just go into school just assuming where you want to go, what degrees you're going to get is going to be sufficient. Do your research, ask your questions, so you don't want to invest money into useless information that won't move your career forward.
Absolutely. What do you guys want to add to that, Jonathan and Alicia? Do you think that the kids that are here have a clue what to do when they say, okay, I want to go to college, now what? Do you think that they know what to do? Because if they don't, we need to tell them here on this broadcast.
I personally think a lot of them need to do more research. So they really don't know. They don't know. So a lot of them look at it like, oh, I want to go to that school. That school sound like, this and that. I want to go there. But like Z said, you have to do your research, because there's a lot of fine prints. There's a lot of fine prints.
Right.
And then by them making you think, oh, you're going to get this job from going here when you graduate. That is so not true. You have to put that extra work in once you get that degree.
It's a selling point, guys. It's a selling point. That's it. They're marketing. That's it.
That's just
because we're
nail on the head.
Yeah,
exactly. And like I said, they got to do research, because a lot of students end up getting these useless degrees, these degrees that don't really, they're not even jobs in whatever the heck that is.
Exactly.
And even like when I worked for I-Corps, there were people under me that had all these kind of degrees. They made less money than me with all these degrees.
Preach.
And all these, so it's like, sometimes
I remember this saying. Have you guys heard that saying when they asked this guy, they said, do you have a degree? He said, no, but I have people with them working for me. Have you heard somebody?
Right. Yeah,
I heard that before. Yeah. So it doesn't, this is just a way, but it's not the only way. Because I mean, I think Steve Jobs, he didn't have a degree. I don't even think he graduated high school, right?
Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, a lot of those guys dropped out of college.
Yeah.
We're not encouraging that, because I mean, it's nothing wrong with getting it, but we're just saying, there's so many different ways to get where we need to be, right?
Exactly.
All right. Another thing we're going to talk about, guys. Okay. The vaccine. How many, by show of hands, how many of you have had the vaccine, have gotten the vaccine?
Uh-oh.
Okay. So, all right. So 1 out of 4 here got the vaccine. And that's kind of how the numbers are looking across the United States. Like maybe 52% of the U.S. population has been vaccinated with at least the first one. So I don't fit into that because I haven't received not one. Now, Alicia, you didn't raise your hand. I mean, I didn't either. Jonathan didn't either. But why haven't you gotten the vaccine?
I feel like more research needs to be done. And not saying that it's not working or anything, because it may work. I just think, in my own personal opinion, it came out really quick versus all the other vaccines. it took time and process before it came out. So I just think that it came
Oh
out a little
wow,
bit
that's
too quick.
awesome.
So I'm like, I gotta give it time before I get it, because it don't make everybody sick when you get it, but a lot of the people that I know when they got the vaccine, they got real sick.
What about you, Jonathan? Why didn't you raise your hand, my brother?
I'm kind of a weird guy. When it comes to, well, I'm vegan, and I think holistic stuff. I think weird stuff to people, so
It's
I
not
keep it to
weird.
myself.
I
Oh
don't
no,
think
no,
it's
it's not
weird.
weird to me, but
Yeah.
so I don't. I have my reasons, but if I do want to do some traveling overseas in the foreseeable future, so I may have to break down if that's the only way. I don't know yet, but that's the short answer.
I'm sure they will, because they're, I
Yeah,
mean, they're giving away money for people to take this shot. They have a lottery out there,
I
the
thought they
vaccine
was giving.
lottery.
yeah. And now
Wow.
all of a sudden the
Crazy.
government cares about health. All of a sudden.
Isn't that something?
Another
We can't
thing.
get health care though, but you know
Right,
what I'm saying?
Mhm.
right. And you know what?
That's
I
what makes
also
it suspicious for me.
Yeah.
That's why I'm
right,
suspicious.
right. And that all of that ties together. And I'm just like all what Jonathan said. Like, I'm vegetarian. I ain't vegan yet. And it's like, what's inside of this stuff? Like, I don't even eat certain foods, and you want me to inject my body with certain things. So it's like I'm all about the holistic approach as well. So it's like I don't even take medicine. So now I got to inject myself with this vaccine that I don't even know what's in it. Like, we don't even know what's in regular medicine. So that give you all kinds of side effects. And
I
I'm
don't
not
even take
knocking
Tylenol and
anyone.
stuff.
I mean, I don't either. So I'm not
Yeah.
knocking anyone that is your opinion. If that's what you want to do, you want to take it. It's just for me personally, like, I'm all about the holistic stuff. If I'll go get some herbs, I'll go drink some tea. I'll do all of that if
Mhm.
I'm feeling some type of way. Before I'll be like, oh, let me go get some pills. Let me go get some medicine, because I'm all about what I inject, what I put in my body. Because you are what you eat. You are what you put in your body. So that's me too.
You know, lady, according to WebMD, they said that blacks, obviously, they have, whites are definitely getting, but they said that two reasons that blacks are not getting this vaccine is mistrust and access. We don't have access as much, and so we're not getting it. But we're also dying quicker than white people are too with this without getting it. So, I mean, to each his own. Now, Z, you're the only one on the panel who did raise your hand. Why did you decide to get the vaccine?
Honestly, I got it so my mom will let me come in the house and not freak out. That's really the biggest reason.
Did it hurt?
I was scared, and I didn't grow a tail. So my aunt and my dad got it before I did, and so they seemed okay. And then before they got it, some of their friends had gotten it. So we're like, okay, let's.
And you've gotten both of them.
Yeah, the first shot I got, I felt a little woozy, but that was about it. But I did have COVID in January, and that was a nerve-wracking experience. But I loaded up on liquid chlorophyll, zinc, vitamin C, vitamin D, elderberry, olive leaf extract, and lysine, and I pulled right through it. So yeah, that's what I took. And
Because there are people that got the vaccine that still got COVID after they
yeah,
got the vaccine.
yeah, but also one thing that about the virus, I had a professor from I think Morris Brown University, chemistry professor. He explained the chemistry behind COVID, and what I understood from him is that chlorophyll is similar in chemistry to blood, except for the middle element in the ring. So what I did was I started, drinking the chlorophyll, and I started feeling better, and I recovered pretty quick. I think, people who died from COVID is because they probably had
Other
that,
issues.
that encouraged inflammation. And I immediately, cut down the amount of food I ate. I immediately drank tons and tons of water.
Right.
I went into full holistic mode. Like, I'm not a vegetarian or vegan, but I kind of went in that direction because I know that that's the fastest way to flush your system, and the lysine reduces the prevalence of virus loads in your blood. So that, I mean,
Because we don't do too well with stuff like that. Black people, we're just like, what? It's killing people. We'll get some act right when we need to, right? But
Right.
we're also very skeptical of stuff too.
Right.
And the fact, for me, they pushed it too much, and it was just it became too political, and that made me go,
Yeah,
So-
but I mean, honestly, I think the virus is definitely horrible. I've had some people close to me pass away from the virus.
Oh wow.
But I really think if you should be washing your hands, period, even before COVID. You should be washing your hands. I don't like being around a whole bunch of people coughing. Like, I don't, COVID or not, that's disgusting. And it's true. A lot of people have died who weren't treated properly. So I think it's important for us to, as Black people, to advocate for ourselves also in the medical system. There's an app that I downloaded to my phone called Teledoc.
Teledoc,
You should investigate if your health insurance gives you access to Teledoc, because that's what I was able to do. I could call them anytime, instantly, get a hold of a doctor and ask any questions that I had. Just like with the college, you have to research, ask questions, understand, so that you can, and also pay attention to your body, pay attention to how your body reacts to different foods, so that way you can manage inflammation, because when your body's chemistry gets more acidic and it gets more inflamed, that's when disease can really grow and thrive. And so you want to make your body more alkaline and reduce your inflammation, and that way you can fight everything from COVID to cancer. And it's just really important to lead a healthy lifestyle.
It's not like it was back in the day. Castor oil cannot cure everything.
Right.
We were growing up, you can have a headache, bring me that castor oil. But Mom, my throat hurt, bring me that castor oil. I'm like, this is some powerful stuff that it can fix everything. I'm telling you guys, going back to old school, I remember I was a cheerleader in high school, and I sprained my ankle, and they had to carry me out the bus, and they're like, Miss Cora, Ella got hurt today at school. And she says, come on in here, girl. My mom went outside. This is no lie. She went outside, got some dirt, and she put, I think vinegar or something, and she stirred it up, put it on the pot, on the stove, put it in a pot on the stove, let it simmer. And then once it got hard, it was like a paste then. And she went and put that stuff around my ankle, put an ace bandage around it, said, now go on outside and play. Healed it from the dirt and the ground. True story.
Wow.
But a lot of us don't know about that kind of stuff now.
No.
Nope.
That's why it's important for us to talk and share our history.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. It's very
because think about it. They didn't have doctors. They didn't have ways to get stuff. I mean, when they were growing up in the 1800s and early 1900s and stuff, they had to figure out what to do when they had their cycle. They had to figure out all of that, Can you imagine? Oh, no, that's a little girl, so I'm not going to go there. But anyway.
I can't imagine it either.
Yeah.
Glad I have a plethora of pads and tampons at my disposal.
What? And we get moody around that time too.
I don't even want to imagine that.
Girl, listen, we get moody around that time too.
I had to catch myself at that time of the month. I'd be like, it's time to be quiet.
And we're out here in this field picking cotton. Bruh, what?
Right.
I would take that whip from him. Now right? Because we get strong when we're, when women are moody. All out. See, I would be the one out there trying to get a bunch of people together, like, look, he can't kill all of us, I'm like, now a couple of us might die, but he can't get all of us.
Right.
But you know what? What's funny? If we really thought like that, if we really think like that for real, that listen, guys, we can take them. There's more of us than there are of them. We can take them. But we're not that bold anymore because half of us are being paid by them. well, I'm not going to mess up myself now, Ella. I understand what you guys are doing, but I got kids to feed. I'm not fixing to go ahead and get with your little mess because you're going to get caught anyway. Right? Because that is the reason we don't like to get involved, is because we already see that it's not going to work. And we talk ourselves out of what God has ordained for us anyway. And I did a motivational message about this one time about the elephant. I'm not going to do it tonight, but one day I will do it. And it's very, it's comparable to how the slave was treated. If you know how elephants were trained and then compare it to how slaves were trained, you guys do your research tonight. And you're going to be like, wow, I understand where Ella was coming from that. Because the elephant is the largest land mammal. It was supposed to be so great and all this, but it was acting like a pussycat, the elephant was. Because even when it had an opportunity to run, it wouldn't. And that's exactly how slaves are sometimes in the way we look at life, is that we're free and we still don't want to run for what we know we could do. But that's a whole different topic. But I just wanted to throw that out there. Guys, now I have a part in my show where it's called No, He Didn't. This is time for that part. Hunter Biden. How many of you have heard about Hunter Biden saying the N-word? Now, of course, Hunter Biden is President Biden's son, who's constantly in the news. But apparently there were some emails and text messages that were leaked where he used the N-word with his white attorney, like almost repeatedly. And one of the things he had said something to him, and he was like, "True that, nigga." Now, what do you think about that, Jonathan?
Yeah, they getting too comfortable. They just too comfortable to just say this, and because he knows.
But what are those people? What do you think about those people that say, "Well, Jonathan, hello, y'all say it"? What do you say about that?
Yeah, I stopped saying it, but I haven't really thought of it like that. But yeah. I don't.
Can I jump in here real quick?
Go ahead, take a bite.
Help him out. Help him out.
Yeah.
Cornel West said it best. He said, "White people have no right to take a word that was used to abuse and oppress us. We transformed the meaning of this word. We have every right to use that word however we please. But those who use that word to use and abuse us have no right."
Yes.
And that is my stance today and forever. No, he didn't, and no, he should not. And no.
So he doesn't get a pass on this one.
No,
Definitely
doesn't get a pass at all.
Not
At all. Shame on him.
Wow.
And I don't care how many rappers use the N-word in their raps. You don't say it. You don't say it. Don't.
Because I'm telling you, even people I may hang out with, it can get real. We can be having fun. We can even be drinking. I'm like, girl, yeah. And as soon as that comes, it's just something like, what? What'd you say? I get sober real quick because it's something that's in us, right?
Sober.
I get sober real quick because I'm like, wait a minute, what'd you say? Girl, no, wait, no. It got hateful. Personal then. Yeah.
It's hateful and disrespectful. I don't care. I mean, it's because you as a white person, this is where the hate is where this word was birthed from.
Right.
Yep.
That is exactly true.
In an act of rebellion and self-love, transform the meaning of that word. You have no right. You have no right.
Well, I'm going to tell you guys a short, true story. In high school, are y'all ready for this? In high school, I got 4 licks from my teacher because I said the word. I said, because we were watching television and I had a white friend. She and I, we were like the best of friends. And she kept bothering me and playing with my hair while we were watching Pride and Prejudice. And I was like, leave me alone, nigga. And she said, shut up, honky. And so the teacher says, Ella, outside. And I'm like, what did I do? So I get outside and she says, we're trying to bury that word and you're bringing it up. I said, but she called me honky. I said, but you didn't hear that part, right? You didn't hear that part. I got 4 licks. She got off because I said the N-word. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
And here, almost 30 years later, a lady at my job got fired for calling me the N-word in an email. Wow. And she did it now listen, you have to be dumb as a doorknob to put it in writing. But she did. She did. She put it in writing. She said, Ella, if you don't, what was her email? She said, if you don't put notes in the system, I'm going to start calling you the N-word. What? I said, you don't know me like that, baby girl. I don't care if you did buy my books. I don't care if you bought all 4 of them. I don't care if you donate to my event. Listen, it just got real. She put it in writing.
Jesus, there's certain things that you should not say.
And that's one of them. And that's one of them. White people, let me help you out here. I know that you got that black friend that you're cool with. Y'all hang out together. You go to the club. You even like her brother. Okay. But when you say that word, that changes the game. I'm just saying. And I'm just trying to help you out.
What she was trying to say, like she was disciplining you? Like, are you serious?
She did. I got 4 licks. Yeah. Because she didn't like the word. And she said that we as black people.
Was this a black teacher that gave you those licks?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's a whole nother dynamic. Have you guys read the book Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome?
No, but it sounds interesting.
You should read that book because it really goes deep into the psyche of black people.
Well, maybe we should read it and then come back and talk about it on the show here. I would love to do that.
Should.
Matter
of fact, we was talking something about that earlier, but how it's like they want to suppress, like it never happened. We don't want to talk about it, like it never happened. You can't erase what really happened.
Right.
And then you have people like Candace Owens that gets out here in the media world.
Did you guys see Dave Chappelle's comedy special?
I did.
During the pandemic, he said everything there needs to be said about that.
I need to watch it. Is it on Netflix?
It's on YouTube. They made it free. You can stream it.
It's on okay.
It's on YouTube.
Oh, I gotta go check that one out.
But Candace Owens,
this is a symptom.
Can we call her Auntie Ruckus?
Wow.
I mean, there's some of us that you're gonna always, and they want to forget. They make them think, okay, you got a little something, something. You guys think about it. Let's go all the way back to slavery. I know we're getting off topic a little bit, but let's go all the way back to slavery. You had the people in the field and the people in the house. They were already knowing what they were doing by dividing us.
Right.
They wanted the people in the house to feel like, you're not like the other blacks. You're not like the rest of them. And then we go through life believing that and thinking, well, I have lighter skin. I live in a better neighborhood, so I'm not like you. No, because at the end of the day, whether you were in the house or in the field, you were still a slave.
Right.
Real talk. And that's still today. So we have to see each other differently. And we got to stop depending on people to justify that you're good enough. Yeah, that's a whole different subject, Jonathan, where we feel like, well, they like me, so I'm all right. No, right?
You still the N-word to them, no matter what. Yeah, they call both of them the N-word.
Thank you. And that's.
Can I say one thing about that story?
Please, yes.
Cute of you and your little white friend for she to call you a honky and you. I mean, that's kind of clever because you guys kind of.
Yeah. I liked her. I didn't look at her as that. It was just a thing for us. I didn't look at her. I mean, she was white, so to me, she was a honky, and that's just that was our plaything. We didn't really know what we were doing in high school. We were just, wet behind the ears. We didn't really know, but I got punished for it.
Right.
And I still don't understand why I got punished for it.
Because you were black.
Right.
Yeah. I think that it's part of hypervigilance. Dr. Joy DeGruy, she goes into hypervigilance and how that plays into our reactions and our interaction with each other. That's why I said you have to read that book to understand epigenetically, subconsciously, and consciously what we as Black people have been through and are going through.
Do you think I would have gotten in trouble if the person I said it to was Black?
Y'all both would have got in trouble.
I honestly, I think that discipline was more about her view of you in that word more so than anything else.
She didn't want me to go through life, I guess. I mean, I don't really use the word, but I do. I mean, I will if I'm talking to someone that I just don't think about it that deep. You know, we have far bigger issues. I don't think about it that deep.
And also going back to the previous point about the separation, one thing they're better than the other. I made a post in Blacktopia a while back about the guy called himself, I'm a good black man. I'm not like them. I'm a good black man. But they think you both the N-word. So ain't no, they like you better than that guy. No, you're both N-words to the white man.
But they use it so that we can turn on each other because they understand that if we ever unify and come together, you think about Nat Turner. When that whole thing went down, they had to disband because they were like, oh, no. We can't let them rise up like this. Oh, hell no. We got to nip this in the bud. So you know what they did after they finally got Nat Turner? They went back and they said, listen, let's think about this. Now the white people started going to all the church services because they're like, I need to see what they're talking about. You know what happened to us? We gave them a book and taught them how to read. We're going to have to stop that because now they're going to come against us. And that's how they still think. Some things just never change. And they got it. They're like, look, if they ever come together, it's a wrap. Black people, if we ever come together, it's a wrap. That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that we come together. We continue to come together, and we're consistently attacked. So that's my view on it.
Definitely, and that was also one of the reasons why I started Blacktopia. At least. Oh, my bad. Go ahead, Miss Lee.
No, I just want to add that they just had to feel as though as long as we separated, we would never be powerful. So we have to learn to come together so that we can show how powerful we really are and unite together. Because they try so many different ways to make us disconnect from each other.
Mm-hmm. And that was one of the main reasons I first started Blacktopia, at least the Facebook group element of it. And just to get black people of all walks of life together. Not because a lot of the black groups is just certain types of black people. You got the bougie one group, you got the Hotep blacks in one group, and you got this. But no, I want us all under one roof. And then black people go, I don't think this is the group for me. I don't want to be in there with other black people. I think the group should be mixed.
Why do we have to mix everything, right? I think that's part of the problem.
Mm-hmm. Well, Erykah Badu said it best. How come we can't be by ourselves sometimes?
Sometimes.
Exactly.
And I think that if we do that, we get to know each other better and we can stop hating. Because I think one of the biggest problems that black people face is uneducated about where you come from. I think that's been a detriment to us because we speak out of ignorance. You know, we allow them to teach us. And I'm like, pick up a book. Don't let them tell you what we went through. Read it. They don't want you to know that you did so well and that you went through this. They don't want you to know that this is who they really were. They don't want you to know that when the Declaration was signed, they weren't talking about you. You know? They weren't talking about you. So you celebrating 4th of July and it has nothing to do with you or your freedom because you weren't free. You weren't even a full person to them. Right. And some of us are still not a full person to them, you know. But guys, you know what? With our time left, we're going to talk about some not so serious stuff. We're going to talk about some fun stuff now. You guys like those topics? Those are good. Yeah. I mean, I think for a starter, for our first show for the news, I think that it's good for us to get some of the basics up front because we need to get you guys used to what this is going to be about because we're going to continue doing these news shows because news changes every day. I mean, some of the stuff we talked about is stuff that happened today. You know, we have to be that current, you know, and intentional about making sure that you get this black news. But in the fun stuff, Jamie Foxx, I love Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx is like, you know, he's the man that I was supposed to marry, but nobody clued him in on it, you know. But check this out. This is his new book. Jamie Foxx, Act Like You Got Some Sense. That is a very catchy title. I like it. But October this year.
He's looking like Floyd Mayweather on that cover.
He's such a good looking guy. Like he's just so, I mean, he's just, I mean, I'm just gonna go there.
His voice is even better. I love his voice.
I wish he would have like really gone.
What was the name of that album? God, what was the name of that album? The one that has "Blame It" on it.
Blame it on the alcohol.
T-Pain.
Yeah, blame it on the alcohol.
Black and the alcohol.
What was it? Was it called Unforgettable or I forget?
Oh, you got me there.
I bought it. It was great. Classic.
He's just multi-talented. He's just
absolutely.
He's listen, guys. Have you guys seen Just Mercy? That's one of my favorite because it pertains to my hometown. Did you see the movie Just Mercy?
I still
the Jamie Foxx. Oh, you have to go look at it because that story happened in my hometown, Monroeville, and I'm gonna post it tomorrow again. But I started a petition because that situation was one where a black man was accused. His name is Johnny D. We knew him as Johnny D. He was accused of killing an 18-year-old white girl. And I'm from a town in Alabama. I'm a country girl. And you just did not mix. The white women they didn't like that. Okay. So the police set this man up, sent him directly to death row. When you watch the movie, this is going to make sense to you. So I started a petition because I said, you know what? Yeah, he may have gotten exonerated after 6 years being on death row. Okay, they didn't even give him a trial first. They sent him directly to death row. He sat there for 6 years before they finally realized, well, the police came up with all this stuff and got people to lie. This man was about to die. But 60 Minutes, you guys Google, go to YouTube. 60 Minutes did a broadcast about this story. But it happened in my hometown. And I said, you know what? Yeah, he may have gotten off, but the system killed him. He's dead now. Nobody paid for it. And we just can't let that fly. I'm just going to be real. But that's what I love. So Jamie Foxx, if you're watching this video, because I just don't leave anything to chance, this is my opportunity to tell you, holla at me. Because you guys need to know what you encouraged and what you influenced, right? Because that came as a result of watching this movie. And I said, we need to capitalize on this. They've made a Hollywood movie about this story that happened in a town that really needs some money. Well, this is a way to get some attention to it. So, what we're going to do once we get 1,000 signatures, I need every single one of you guys to sign it and post it on your page for me. But we need 1,000 signatures. And once we do that, we're writing a letter to the Attorney General of Alabama saying reopen this 34-year-old case because we might have some new evidence. I'm not saying anything. You'll never hear me say it here on the broadcast. Just know I'm working it. But so I need you guys to support that. I really do. I don't know why I got off on that, but we were talking about Jamie Foxx. I really want to talk about how fine he is, but I'm trying to take care of business. Okay. Jonathan, why did you look like that?
No, because you want to keep going on about Jamie Foxx. So
I've always loved him. But guess what, guys? Guess who else has birthdays? This is June. What celebrities has birthdays? One of my favorite. Prince. Come on, ladies. Prince. Oh, Prince. Listen, what's your favorite Prince song, Alicia? What's your favorite? I think she's frozen. Z, what's your favorite Prince song?
When Doves Cry, followed by Kiss.
Ooh.
Oh, followed by I Would Die for You. Those are my top three.
Well, just keep going. Just go ahead and get the whole, because I mean everything is hot.
And then I guess I would have to say album. I love the Emancipation box set. That whole.
Oh yeah. What was your favorite, Alicia? Your favorite Prince song?
I like When Doves Cry as well. And I like Purple Rain too.
I was just going to say that. That's my favorite, Purple Rain. Mm-hmm. So sexy, so sexy. Well, his birthday was this month as well. Mine too. That's why I did that, because I'm a June. I'm a Gemini. You know, it's true what they say. You're Gemini too, Jonathan.
Yeah. May
Happy
29th.
birthday. All right. Nice.
My Prince songs too now.
Okay, what are your Prince? Okay, yeah, he wants to say his Prince song.
I'm not that young, but Sign of the Times is one of them.
Sign of the Times, okay.
Yeah, and also like You Got the Look, or was that Sheila E. with Prince? Well, anyway, You've Got the Look, and I like Doves Cry too.
Oh yeah, Doves Cry, that was hot. I still watch Purple Rain the movie. I still watch it. And who else had a birthday in June? Marla Gibbs. Florence from the Jeffersons.
Happy birthday to Marla Gibbs.
Yes. Ice Cube is a June baby. Venus Williams.
Ice Cube.
Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, wow. Kendrick Lamar, too.
Yes. So happy birthday to all my June peeps. But you know what? The going back to Jamie Foxx's book, Act Like You Got Some Sense. You know where that came from? He said his grandmother used to say that all the time. Now, there is not a black person alive that has not heard that growing up.
Right.
I know I have.
Yeah.
Act like, I mean, yeah, they still say it. Act like you got some sense. I say it because I heard it so much.
My son the other day.
Better act like you got some sense right here. Like, you know, lost your doggone mind. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we all say it. So I'm looking forward to it.
One of the things that we do.
We pass a lot of things down through the generations. And it's so funny because no matter where you are, what part of the country you're in, if you're black, there's some things you can relate to. And it's because, you know, we're sisters and brothers. But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know where we got that from. Now, another thing in Twitter, guys, this is good news in Twitter. Twitter talk is everything today. Alton Sterling. You guys remember Alton Sterling? The guy who was gunned down by the police. He was out selling CDs. Mm-hmm. His kids were awarded $4.5 million from that. Now, it's funny how nobody went to jail for it, but they gave them money.
Yeah, a lot of these police departments have funds earmarked specifically to pay off families who've been victims of police brutality. It's in their budget, and it's really unfortunate, but the reality is police budgets are typically one of the biggest money centers of a city budget. So
the kids are going to benefit. He has 5 kids. So I just hope that they have some people in their ear telling them the right way to where to put that money and make sure that it's put in the right place. Because, you know, sometimes we get that money. Did you guys hear? This is totally off the record. There was a guy that was awarded $30 million. No, was it 30 million? 30,000. I'm sorry. $30,000 in a lottery. And this fool, and yes, fool, went and spent $20,000 on a gold chain.
I posted that in Blacktopia.
A gold chain, and then he got robbed moments after he was fronting.
Yeah.
Somebody should have beat him.
Oh, see that?
That was sad. Now that's sad. That's crazy stuff.
Yep.
Now with Biden giving us all this money, this is the stuff we don't need to be doing. And I think that even though he's giving out money and stuff like that and signing stuff, I think a lot of the mindset of us black people need to change. I mean, the money ain't gonna change the mindset. We still may do stupid stuff with the money. So we need to. Yeah.
And maybe we can come back and talk about that, because I mean, you bring up a very interesting point, Jonathan. And I know we're being a little comical tonight, but you're making me think, because whatever we can do on our platforms to help our people, then let's bring someone on to tell people how to manage their money. I see every grandmama and auntie on Facebook that's credit repair now. What is that, like an easy, quick fix to get some money now? Everybody is a credit repair specialist now. But I mean, if you're not thinking about that, you really should start thinking about credit repair and stuff like that. Get educated about that. Maybe we'll bring somebody back and do a show about that. These are the kind of things.
I have a website, creditrepairfund.com, and I help people get their credit repaired. But, you know, I think I want to say somewhere between 80 and 90% of Americans have less than perfect credit.
Oh, yeah.
Because the credit bureaus, which are business entities, they're not government entities, they often have erroneous and outdated information on credit reports, which drags people's credit history down. So it's just a practice. People should just, inquire. You can get a free credit report from each of the bureau one time a year. You should always do that every year and take a look at what's on there to make sure that there's no incorrect information. So,
well, it sounds like we need to bring you back. I'm just saying, right, Jonathan?
Yes, true indeed. Also, can introduce you to some more people as well.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about just financial, things, I think, getting involved in cryptocurrency and just really understanding money is really important. It's like, how many people know that the Federal Reserve is a private entity? It's not a governmental entity. How many people know that? Do you guys know that the Federal Reserve is a private entity?
I did not know that. I'll be honest. I did not realize.
So the Federal Reserve Basically, when you talk about fiat currency versus real money, the U.S. Constitution says that the United States money can only be backed by gold or silver. Nixon took us off the gold standard many, many years ago. And so we technically have unconstitutional money.
Okay, well, as long as I can still spend it, I'm just saying.
But what I'm saying is like, you know, when I said earlier that a lot of white people, white men put on integrity like a jacket when it's convenient. I mean, even when it comes to our money, there's a lack of integrity. So this is why, you know, companies like Go Nitro Wireless, goldback.com, and just, you know, diversifying your money. Like when you get those checks, buying precious metals, buying real estate, investing in cryptocurrency, investing in stocks, diversifying your money is important to hedge against inflation.
I like it. We're going to definitely bring that back. That's very important to me because there's so much out there to know about this trading. There's so many people that, oh, this works. I can't tell you the scams that are out there. We have to talk about that too, because so many people are getting scammed out here, even with like the lottery vaccine.
Yeah, like the Forex trading, all you're doing is making bets on fiat currencies of the world and betting on how they're going to do this and the other. I don't engage in it. I don't encourage it. I like investing in real assets.
That's what I like too. I agree with you on that. Because the other thing is just like tic-tac-toe. It's like you're just guessing and you're like, oh, well, I just lost $20,000. Oh, okay, no problem.
The thing about cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Ethereum and Ripple is that the people, it's backed by the people. It's not backed by a government. And all the transactions are public. They're anonymous, but they're public. So you can see, you know, what's happening in the market. And so you can be informed. It's not like, you know, the Fed, you know, we don't even know who all the shareholders are, you know.
Wow, yeah.
They don't send out shareholder reports. You know what I'm saying? It's like this black box that is dictating monetary policy that we all are affected by. And, you know, that's not cool. That's why, I mean, countries like El Salvador and others are actually making Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies valid currency. So, I mean, there's a lot to discuss, and the technology.
It sounds like it. That sounds like an entire show.
It's a hot topic.
It is hot topic, and we're gonna bring you back, Z, to talk about that because I really want to help my people in whatever way I possibly can by using this platform. But we have like 8 minutes left in the broadcast. Now, this is our bonus thing. Now, this affects Black people directly and indirectly. Trump. Oh, I just love saying it. But what he's in the news for, you guys know they're after his top exec, what's his name? Alan Weisenberg, yes. He is in the hot seat right now because they're coming for him hard. Because if there's anyone that knows what happened in that Trump organization, it's this guy. Now I gotta give it to the AG over there in New York. What's her name? Letitia James. She is doing her thing, Jonathan. Mm-hmm. I love the sister. She is having she's like, bring it. I want you to try it. I can just see her behind closed doors, you know, being like a real sister. I'm like, man, you got to be out your regular mind, you know, because, you know, we still talk like that. But, you know, they're going after him hard because he knows everything. And they're trying. So they've been going after him for about a month, from what I read. And they're trying to get him to actually turn state. They want him to come against Trump. Do you think he will, Alicia? Or is he scared of Trump?
It's hard to say.
What do you think, Z? You think he'll come again? You think he'll break it down and like, you know what? Yeah, I'm turning on him because I'm not trying to go to prison for this fool.
Well, wasn't Michael Cohen his private attorney, and he rolled over and snitched and
Yeah,
sung
he
like a
did.
bird?
But it was kind of after they put the handcuffs on him.
Well,
that's when he got some act right.
They put enough pressure on him.
Yeah.
I think, with the right incentives, he'll talk. But I really think, the white supremacists are really putting the pressure from a political standpoint, a legal standpoint, economic standpoint, just violence. I mean, this is now it's time for Black people, wherever you are. If you see white people slipping, not following the rule of law, go after them without any restraint, nail them to the wall by any means necessary. That's how I feel about
My girl.
No excuses. No
girl.
No,
I love that. Is probably the best thing I've heard all night, because we are so forgiving and we're so loving. Well, God will get them. Well,
No.
God gave me EEOC.
They need to
God
suffer
gave
the consequences of their actions right in the here and now.
Preach. EEOC was a gift from God. OSHA was a gift from God. That's how I look at it. And if you don't open that gift, that's on you. Right. Sit around here, keep talking about we shall overcome. And I just believe, I can just see this, because I believe that when we finally
dead and we got to work.
I believe that when we finally get to heaven and see Jesus, he's going to look like me. He's going to probably have hair like this, but it's going to be his real hair. And right? And he's going to be so down to earth. And he's going to say, I gave y'all EEOC. I gave you OSHA. I gave you everything you needed to fight with. Why did you sit there talking about forgive? I died on the cross so you wouldn't have to. So why are you trying to do my job? If you were going to die on the cross, I should have stayed over there playing with the doggone pigeons and stuff. Because think about it. We feel like we have grown. This is what I really believe with Black America. We feel like we were supposed to bear that. We're supposed to suffer. It was just put on us. I mean, we went through slavery. I just think that's a lie straight from hell. I really do.
Right.
I don't think we were meant to. I don't think that we should be treated like second-class citizens. No. I think that we have to force our way into where we're supposed to be. By any means necessary. If there's anything Malcolm X said that I agree with, I totally agree with that.
I read his autobiography. I read Malcolm X's autobiography. I've read the life and works of Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey, out of all the entrepreneurs that ever lived, he's my favorite, because he had a multinational corporation, ran it in the age of no internet. He had a newspaper that was being published daily on multiple continents. And for a man to have the vision to do that, that's incredible. And and for him, like when I see the pictures of how he had everybody just assembled and everybody dressed the same in a uniform, and just how he was a proponent of Black people being fabulous, being smart, doing what they need to do. I mean, I love his perspective much better than W. Du Bois. W. Du Bois was more, there's this elite faction of Black people, and they're the ones who are going to make the change. No, everybody needs to pitch in. I'm more of a Marcus Garvey type of gal. Whether or not MIT or not, I'm on the Marcus Garvey side.
We have 2 minutes left to go on the broadcast. I want to hear from Jonathan and Alicia. You guys talk to me. What do you want people to take away from this show, and where do we go from here?
Follow me on Instagram. I'll follow back. Okay. But as far as other things, I just want to say right quick, just keep tuning in to the show. It's going to be a lot more great guests and information that you can use, discussions that need to be had. And we just need to push the needle forward when it comes to Black people in general and what we need to do.
Very well said. What about you, Alicia? Coach Lee?
Stay consistent. Take a stand. Don't be afraid to take a stand. We are more powerful in numbers than when we're not. So long as we continue to grow together and move forward together and be consistent on what we stand for, we will make things start happening.
All right. What do you want to say, Z, to end our broadcast for tonight? Take it on home for us, girl.
thank you, Ella, for having me on your show. It has been a blast.
Welcome. You're
and
so welcome.
I'm going to say, follow me, text me on Instagram, the SEO Queen. I'm the SEO Queen on all platforms. Holler at your girl. Text me. But I really want Black people watching this broadcast to really get this in their spirit. You are fabulous. You are more than enough. Go after your dreams unapologetically. Be you. Do you. Be a part of the community. Don't isolate yourself. And don't be afraid, because it doesn't matter if you make the A choice, the B choice. The thing is, whether you're wearing a bonnet or not, haters gonna hate. Haters gonna hate. So you gotta be you. You have to stand up for you. And I want to encourage you to go after your dreams, to go after your aspirations, to do that research, to find the information. This is why I love search engine optimization so much, because there's always something new to learn. If you have a question, ask it. Contact my brother here, contact my sisters here, contact me, contact somebody, start that dialogue, engage in your community, and you'll never know where it'll take you.
And on that note, I want to encourage people that are working in their communities. I watched something last night on Facebook, and I have to be honest with you, it really broke my heart, because it was a young lady she went live on Facebook, and she was just basically cursing everybody out because she's trying to do something in her community good. She's trying to say Black on Black, let's stop killing each other, very positive things. I even went to one of her events. And I live here in Orlando, and I wanted to support her because I believe in what she's trying to do. And she was so disheartened by the lack of support that she's getting from her own people. And we need to stop that. We need to stop that, because, we come on these shows and we tell everybody, do something in your neighborhood, start something, be proactive. And then when people do it, you guys are the ones that's beating them up. And we can't have that. We can't have that. If we're going to ever change this thing, we have to change it within us. And I want to encourage her, and she knows who she is. If you're watching the broadcast, don't be discouraged, sweetheart. Stay in the game, stay in the game and keep doing what you're doing, because, you can't allow this stuff to get to you. That's one thing about being a leader. Once you are pegged as the leader, you become a target, and you have to understand that that's just rules of the game. You're going to become a target. So stay encouraged, and you can't cuss everybody out every time somebody pisses you off, because you'll be doing it every day. And now you're losing focus on what you're supposed to be doing. And that's always the intent. So stay focused. I want to encourage you leaders, those of you that are watching this broadcast, that are just sitting here and you're thinking about, what can I do that I can make a difference in the world? Well, listen, I want to give you the first hint. If you have a pulse, you have a purpose.
Yes.
I say that again. If you have a pulse, you have a purpose. So if you're watching this broadcast, what, Z? They got a pulse. Unless you're dead watching this broadcast. And I don't think any dead people are watching this broadcast. So you just have to figure out what yours is. All right. Well, I want to thank you all so much. I want to thank all of my guests. Alicia, thank you. Thank you, Z. Thank you, Jonathan. You guys have been awesome. I definitely want to bring you guys back the next news show that we do. I like this team. I wanted to check it out tonight and see how it gels, and I'm feeling it. I love it. I love it. I even want you guys to bring some of the topics next time, but I think this is a very good fit. Maybe every now and then we'll bring somebody extra, but this is the new show for the Ella Johnson Show, because we're going to do this maybe once a month to start out so that we can bring more information, maybe bring on that credit person, to whatever we need in our community. Let's do it. And if you're watching this broadcast and you think you would like to join, hit me up. Everything is right there on the bottom. If you would like to be a guest, go to theellajohnson@gmail.com or 407-334-6997 and let us know. But again, thank you all so much for tuning in. Tomorrow night, I have an excellent guest. Listen, I have gotten this thing where I'm just getting a lot of people that are domestic violence survivors that want to come on this broadcast and tell their story. Well, tomorrow night is not an exception. And this young lady that's coming tomorrow, it's her first time telling her story. So I need you guys to come and tune in and support her. She's coming from the UK. Now, it's going to be pretty late when she comes on. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. How many of you guys would be looking all fabulous at 1 o'clock in the morning? I don't know, but she is. And she wanted to tell her story because she wants to make sure that she can be a blessing to those of you that are suffering in silence from domestic violence. She wants to give you an opportunity to get out before it's too late. My cousin was killed as a result of domestic violence. That's why I started doing these shows, because we didn't have a clue that she was even going through it. So anybody have anything else to say before we get out of here? All minds satisfied?
I
Follow
have
me.
something to say.
Yes.
I would love to be a part of that show because I am a survivor of it. That's how come I am an advocate on it, and I work with survivors to help them to learn to love themselves. So I would love to be a part of that show. If
tomorrow night, you want to come back tomorrow night? Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Then I will send you the link.
Okay.
Oh, she just lit up. Oh, girl, you gave me chills.
Yeah.
Because she was like, but I love your enthusiasm. I love your enthusiasm because that's a passion for people. And that's what attracts people to you. And I love that. So I will definitely, because there's a different link for tomorrow night. But I will make sure you're in the loop on that. And if there's anyone else that you know that's a survivor that would like to tell their story, let's do it. There's room. I wanted 5 tomorrow, but she was the only one that responded. So we're going to tell her story tomorrow night. So if you know that you're suffering in silence and you're afraid to tell someone, because a lot of you have family members that are sitting over here being beaten every day and you have no idea.
Right.
So tune in to the broadcast tomorrow night. But guys, if all minds are satisfied, we're going to get out of here and we'll see you tomorrow night. Same time, 8 o'clock, right here on YouTube and Facebook Live. Have a great evening, everyone.
Yes.
Thanks for tuning in to the Ella Johnson Show.